Howdy Heisters, Eurogamer's Ian Higton here. Now, I recently took a trip to Starbreeze HQ in Stockholm, Sweden to go hands-on with Payday 3. And get this, I wasn't even invited. I just kicked the door in after everyone had left for the day and then played a couple of missions on someone's unlocked work PC. I even hacked into their secure servers and stole all of the brand new 4K gameplay footage that you'll be watching in this video too. Honestly, I'm a criminal mastermind, me. Although, maybe flooding the reception and then doing a poo in the kitchen sink was a step too far. Ah well, that's Starbreeze's problem now, not mine. Anyway, this video is formed of two halves. In the first half, I'm going to tell you about 7 ways that Payday 3 will turn up the heat compared to Payday 2. Get it? Heat? Because of the movie? And then, in the second half, I'm going to talk you through 2 examples of how to complete one of Payday 3's new bank robbery missions, both loud and stealthy. So make sure to use the chapters function on this YouTube video if you want to skip to the bit that interests you the most, and don't forget to like this video and or subscribe to Eurogamer, but preferably both. Alrighty, let's get on with the show. On the surface, Payday 3 isn't a sequel that radically changes things up. Rather, it improves on what was already good about Payday 2, and it makes the action feel more believable. What do I mean by that exactly? Well, Starbreeze has always said it wants to make the ultimate criminal fantasy, and from what I played, it definitely feels like it's taken a big step in the right direction. The first difference you'll notice with Payday 3 is that the heists are now all set in New York, and this change of location brings with it a collection of new buildings to ransack, all set within, or close to at least, that city. The 2 missions I played were a bank heist set in a branch of SCB, or Secure Capital Bank, which you'll see a lot more of later, and a raid on an art gallery called Surface, gameplay of which you're watching right now. Having these levels set in New York instantly gives the game a more movie-like vibe, and this is helped by having much more detailed visuals this time around. Perhaps you caught a glimpse of New York's main island across the river in the beautiful opening shot to this section. Part of the reason why the game now looks so much better than before is the move from the Diesel 2.0 game engine to Unreal Engine 4, a move which, Starbreeze told us, brings the possibility of an upgrade to Unreal Engine 5 in the future. Although I didn't get to find out the number of heists that there would be in Payday 3 on launch, I was told that there would be 6 playable characters in the base game, including the original crew of Dallas, Chains, Wolf and Hoxton. Who the other 2 are is yet to be announced, but they are likely to be original characters. In Payday 2, when it came to heists, everything was quite binary. Players could attempt to complete a heist stealthily, which was entirely possible, but as soon as they made any mistake, the situation would go loud and in would come the cops and out would come the guns. In Payday 3, however, a couple of new heist phases have been introduced to make the gameplay a bit more forgiving. So now, if a guard notices something suspicious, like, say, a broken camera, for example, they will enter something called search mode. In search mode, the guards will move a little faster as they start looking for the source of the problem, and if you can keep hidden for long enough, they'll return back to a normal pattern of patrol. Make another mistake, though, and the guards will call in the cops, who will then be the first responders to the situation. This kicks off the second new phase of the heist, the negotiation phase, whereby, if you have hostages, you can start trading them to the first responders to earn extra time before the SWAT team arrives and the bullets start flying. These new phases not only make the step up from stealth to loud feel a bit more organic, but they also help to maximise Payday 3's idea of letting its players live out the ultimate criminal fantasy. Starbreeze has also improved the AI for Payday 3 in order to create more dynamic living environments. What does that mean? Well, for a start, at the beginning of a mission, when you're scouting out the locations, you'll notice that the NPCs act a lot more lifelike than before, talking to each other and interacting with things. The law enforcement AI has also been worked on to make them feel more realistic too. This means the cops and SWAT teams will behave differently when you have a lot of civilians around you. They'll be more careful overall as they don't want any collateral damage. So, for example, they'll stop throwing grenades as they'll be afraid they'll blow up the hostages. The AI for the main attack waves has also been improved to make things feel a bit more tactical. In Payday 2, the cops and the SWAT teams are essentially zombies that just spread out and run at you, but in Payday 3, the enemy AI spawns in units. These units work as a team. For instance, there can be units with a shield character at the front while the rest of the squad moves along behind them. This AI realism meant that the loud phases that I experienced felt a bit more manageable than I found them in Payday 2, as they made the experience a bit more readable, and therefore it was easier to think more tactically. Another way Starbreeze is trying to up the realism is by adding way more cosmetic destruction to the environments this time around. Shoot at walls and ceilings in the buildings you raid, and plaster and panels will fall down around you. Shoot at cars outside and their windows will break and their alarms will go off. These effects are limited to the cosmetic and they don't bring about big areas of destruction that affect the level design like you might see in a game like Battlefield, but they do add a bit more of that Hollywood heist movie vibe to the proceedings. One thing I noticed quite a lot during my time playing the game was that the movement felt faster and more fluid than in Payday 2. In Payday 3 you can dash around and vault over objects and even slide along the floor so you can shoot out the cops' knees as you skid past them. This new fluidity of movement was also very noticeable in the search phase of the art gallery heist we played, as it meant that we were able to climb up boxes and then air vents to reach the fire escapes above. From there, we could get onto the roof and use the skylights to case the joint and mark the guards and cameras so that we could then find the safest point of entry. Payday 3 also has a new set of modifiers called private security modifiers that, depending on the difficulty you're playing on, could give you up to 3 difficulty modifiers at a time. These modifiers include things like indestructible security cameras, additional guard spawns, and one that affects your hacking capabilities. What's really interesting about these private security modifiers is that they rotate on a weekly basis, meaning you and your crew are going to need to constantly work out how to adapt to the changing situations week by week. These modifiers are only available on hard and above difficulty levels and not on the normal difficulty, so they'll add a nice bit of unpredictability to the game for seasoned players who really want to test themselves. Along with choosing standard weaponry from your loadouts, Payday 3 also introduces something called Overkill Weapons, which are over-the-top super weapons that allow you to wreak havoc for a limited time. Think of these like temporary power-ups that you can call in once you've killed a certain amount of enemies. There were only 2 of these overkill weapons to choose from during our demo, and you can see the grenade launcher in action in the next section, where I show off loud gameplay in a bank. But I did also try out a special one-hit kill sniper rifle that highlighted enemies with some kind of thermal scope. That gun ended up being my go-to overkill weapon as, while I do love big explosions, the bouncing grenades from the grenade launcher seemed rather inaccurate and they would often pass right by my targets and explode somewhere behind them. Alrighty, that's the listicle side of things done. Now it's time for me to go off script as I talk you through 2 different approaches to the SCB bank raid mission.
That vault is full of cash, waiting for transport. A lot of guards on patrol. Keep an eye out.
So this is the loud approach, and as we can see, the players are going straight through the front door. What they're going to do is they are going to instantly initiate the mask on gameplay. Once you put the mask on in the Payday games, in Payday 3 especially, you cannot take the masks back off again. The masks allow you to bring out your guns and do some terrible things like taking human shields and tying up hostages. Now, as you can see from all the bodies on the floor, we've definitely gone loud at this point. But that doesn't mean that the negotiation phase is over. Just because we got loud doesn't mean we can't still tie a few of these hostages up and then release them to get some extra time to put off the assault from the SWAT team. As you can see at top left-hand corner, it says trade 7 hostages. But our player here has just completely ruined that. He could have given App 6 more hostages, but instead he shot a cop in the face, and that instantly triggered the assault. It ruined the negotiation phase, and now it's gone super loud. There's some of that fluid movement I was talking about in the listicle. The slide feels very cool in this. If you're a fan of like Far Cry style sliding and shotgunning, then you're going to get lots of that in here. Now what they're doing here is they are placing a thermite on the floor to burn down through the floor into the vault below. What happens is a helicopter will fly overhead and drop bags of thermite onto the floor. There will be up to 3 bags of thermite dropped, and you can then throw those bags of thermite onto the burning pile of thermite to speed up the process of burning through the floor. Now, one of the things that the cops will do is turn on the sprinkler systems to delay the speed in which the thermite burns. You can turn off the sprinklers by interacting with the sprinkler system, and then you just need to hold off the assault while it burns. Here you can see some cool environmental destruction there, the cosmetic destruction, all the panels and stuff falling off. Just makes the world, the environment feel a little bit more living. The hole in the floor has been burnt through, by the way. So there's you guys dropping into the vault. Here they are disarming die packs. You get a couple of seconds once the vault door opens to disarm the die packs. If they pop, the money gets dyed blue. You'll still get some reward for that money, but it'll be worth less. Here's a squad, a unit even, dropping in. You might have noticed that there was a shield carrier at the front of that unit, and there were normal cops behind them. As I mentioned in the listicle portion of this video, the units behave more coherent, more realistic. They move in squads. They're less like rampaging zombies. Here's an overkill weapon. This is the grenade launcher. Felt fairly inaccurate to me, the grenade launcher. Wasn't my preferred one. The sniper rifle, which you don't see in this gameplay, was my preferred way of taking out the enemies with an overkill weapon, because it was way more accurate, and you could basically guarantee a one-hit kill. The grenade launcher, not so much. Now, each player also can load out with armor pack, ammo pack, med kits, and you can drop those wherever to, you know, help buff your team. At the moment, they are carrying the bags of money and depositing them behind this barrier while they wait for the getaway truck to arrive. That's some ammo being refilled there. And they are just holding out. Oh, that is... So those guys, I can't remember what they're called, but those guys with the full-on armor are terribly hard to take down. Absolute absolute bullet sponges they are. Look at him, he's so angry. It's like a bull. A bull with a machine gun. You don't want to go up against a bull with a machine gun. How would it even pull the trigger with its hooves? Nice little shotgun sidearm there. One of the things that you need to do when you're holding the area near the end of this phase is to lower the bollards. You have to lower 3 bollards in order for the truck to be able to approach. That has been cut out of this gameplay, and the truck has now arrived. So all the players need to do now is hold off and secure all the loot into the truck. In fact, it looks like the truck is already full of the loot, and so now they just need to gather in this square and escape with all the monies. Simple, I guess, but lots of dead bodies. Oh dear. Alright, here we go. This is how to do this one stealthy. This video makes it look a lot easier than it actually is. We tried to go stealthy, me and my team, when we played this multiple times, and there was always some kind of cock-up. that broke stealth, including one accidental grenade throw, and me just being a bit too trigger happy with one of the guards. Whoops.
I see a camera.
The gate's door is sealed magnetically.
So as you can see here, this player has moved in, has closed the shutters, which I would have thought would have been a little bit suspicious, but that guard didn't seem to care. And you also might have spotted the player character marking cameras and guards as well. You can click in the middle mouse button on PC and you can mark the guards and the cameras, and they will get highlighted in red for all the players. So at the moment, these two players are moving onto the roof access. What they need to do first is get past the security gate by disabling the security system and finding the power room.
Get down.
Now they've sneaked in through the top floor here, and one of the players has a perk which allows them to hack into the security cameras. And this security camera has been used to mark a sleeping guard. They can snooze at the moment because they're stealthy as fook, and no one is any of the wiser that a break-in is being attempted.
I'll need you to come with me.
Now what has happened here is a guard has spotted the player in a restricted area. Did you see that? He threw something on that guard's back. I'll tell you about that in a second. Just like in the Hitman games, if you stick with that guard, he will escort you out the restricted area, and then he'll forget about you and go back to his business. If you try to resist or you try to run away when you're in the secure area, it'll go loud. Otherwise, just follow the guard and go outside. Now, the thing that he threw on the back of the guard there was one of the new gadgets in the game, a mini camera. And now this mini camera is stuck on the guard's back. So the player who monitors this guard can tell the player that has now grabbed this guard that the guard is on his way. So a lot of teamwork, a lot of communication is needed to successfully do a stealth approach. Here we've got another camera hack. This is gonna, you see the camera's blue now, means it won't tell on them. Here you go, they found the security room. They stole a security card off that guard, I believe. So they can go in the security room now and mask up, and they can take this guy as a human shield, or just knock him out. Moth.
Hello, dispatch.
Was that a teabag?
Good, but I just tripped on a fucking step. This shit is dangerous, man. Brother could die in this motherfucker. Fuck, I'm reporting this shit.
Wow, that is a very rude man. Okay, so they're in the security system, or the power room, one of them. It's the security room, and everything's been disabled. People are a bit like, what's going on? So the guards there, they entered a brief search phase, but they came out of it pretty quickly. I think it was just when the security stuff went down, they're a bit like, wait, what?
That's the switch you need to flip to get the door open.
Now, while you're waiting for your plans to play out, you can also search other areas of the bank for intel and clues to other hidden stashes of loot. So, for instance, there's a safety deposit box somewhere in the bank with a lot more loot in it. The executive's deposit box, it says up there in the left-hand side. That's an optional one, obviously, but if you want to maximize your payout, you want to do that.
You'll need to get hold of one of the executives to get into the vault. Should be easy enough to just keep an eye out for that corporate look.
Civilian.
Okay, so
That's an executive
to get into the vault,
access.
they need to take the vault manager hostage.
There's someone there.
That facial scanner. Lovely stuff, nice and smooth. That guard's just on his phone, not paying any attention.
Go and get it.
All going smoothly so far. And they're going to tie that guy up.
We've got the
So the stealthy approach is almost a bit like a puzzle. And by doing the steps of the puzzle, they've worked out that the code to the vault is 5892. And they're in the vault.
The money stacks are rigged with die packs. As soon as the door opens, you need to move fast before they go off.
There's the die packs being disabled. Once again, you don't want any blue on your notes. Nuh-uh. Yoink, yoink, yoink. Alright, so they've got bags of cash. And they are escaping.
That's 7 bags.
And because it's all stealthy, there's no roadblocks in place. The van can park right up next to the bank. Easy squeezy, and they're through. And that is all the Payday 3 I have for you all today. Hope you enjoyed all this new information and new 4K gameplay footage. As soon as I get more Payday 3 details, I will be sure to bring them to you here on Eurogamer. So once again, do like and or subscribe for more Payday stuff in the future and almost daily videos about video games. I can't wait till this one comes out. I reckon it'll be very funny when Aoife, Zoe and I attempt some bank robberies. Let's be honest, we're never going to do the stealthy run. It's going to go loud as shit all the time. But it'll be fun. Anyway, see you all soon. Thanks for watching. Goodbye. And good bank robbing.